Hello everyone and welcome yourselves back to the YouTube channel, back for another movie review. This being a television movie called Girl in the Basement, and it is based on true events about a girl who was trapped in a basement for 20 plus years by her father, and many events unfolded from that day when she was 17, set to turn 18, and many rumors and other things spiraled out of control, leading to the unknown mystery of what happened to the girl. So yeah, it is a terrific film, I think. For what it is, crazy to think what happens in this film happened in real life. And yeah, we're going to talk about it. So do check it out for yourself, of course. Subscribe and like. Spoilers ahead and enjoy. But of course, I say spoilers. It is a real event. You might already have known about this. I actually think I saw it on TikTok before I ever watched this for the first time. And then we just randomly watched it the other night. So yeah, it was definitely a terrific watch and quite emotional in many ways. So yeah, enjoy the video. So, as I said, Girl in the Basement is about a girl. She is 17, has a bit of a distant relationship from her father, has a nice relationship with her sister and mother. She dreams of traveling and running away to the places like Florida and all the 50 states around America with her love interest of Chris. And it goes sideways one day when her father overhears her having this conversation with her mother and sister that she will eventually leave when she's 18 and graduated, which wasn't long um after she was put into captivity. And yeah, it was crazy because her dad, opened this like nuclear bunker under the house. No one knew about it but him. He was renovating it, looking after it, making sure it was fit for her, which obviously as the audience we we knew that because that's obviously what the premise of the film is. And then one day he tricks her into the basement, bringing this box down. And then the film goes from there. And it's this crazy spiral of, shows like the first day and the second day. And then it goes on this path of, sexual violence, abuse, constantly being pregnant, I think having a couple of miscarriages, stillborn, raising these kids in these walls, never knowing what the outside is like, the mother upstairs, baffled by where she is, the father telling Chris false lies, false information, false tales, her sister none the wiser. And it was just one of these films of thinking, there's got to be ways of her getting out. Is she going to kill herself? Because of the craziness, having to go to the toilet down there, eat and ration, then having to raise a couple of kids. One kid was sent upstairs to be raised by them, like left on the doorstep type thing. Um, Crazy to think it was Judd Nelson who was the dad in this, who was in St. Elmo's Fire and Breakfast Club and part of the Brat Pack, with Emilio Estevez and the rest of them back in the 80s. But I think the acting was on point. The girl from Wednesday was the older version of the daughter in this. I think it was very well acted. I think it was very well developed. It was crazy to watch. And it's the reason why I watched this, it wasn't because it was a fantastic film, because you really wanted to see how she escaped, how she got out. And obviously it came to this point of where the daughter, the oldest child of the girl, she dealt with asthma issues, and obviously she needed to be rushed to hospital, which was the opening scene, which obviously we didn't know who was who character, but obviously by the end of the film, we know it was the mum and her daughter who had been raised and had lived for 20 years in the basement. And it goes into this thing of, it ends at the hospital, he gets arrested, she's reunited with her mother, and the other kid, he's brought out a stretcher, and she's just mortified, the mother, to realize that her daughter's been in the basement this entire time. And it's this weird thing of her dad was basically telling her to call her by his real name, the way he treated her. The punishment went a bit too far, if you will. But I think it's great. If the fact of the matter is, it's crazy that this sort of stuff has happened. You know, he went to prison for life, I believe. But yeah, it was such an intense story, an intense film, one of those films where you're thinking, how does this end? How does she get out? How does it um I think in real life it was actually 24 years or even longer. She was actually under, in this place longer than she actually was alive in the real world, if you will. to not like shop or interact with people or see Chris for that long, and then to reunite with him at the end and get the helmet and just deal with all this aftermath of her being in her 30s. And obviously, it was truly a really tense film, um, emotional. And I think, as I said, very well acted considering what there was like 7, 8 actors in this, four for the most part in the basement. And I just think they all did a terrific job. It was long enough where I think, you wasn't dragging out or drawn out. I like how they showed specific years, specific births, the way she gave birth, the way it was easier, the way she was raising her kids through school and telling stories and then opening up to the kids the older they got. It was a great film, in my opinion. As good as it could be for what it is. Obviously, there may be more to the story, but I haven't really read into it. But I think for what we got, for what we saw, the actress who played the main girl, she did a terrific job. Judd Nelson was good. And I think Girl in the Basement is definitely a 7 out of 10 film. That's just the way it is. It can never be any better than that because it's a very basic, straightforward story of just the telling of how she was trapped for 20 years. But I think they did a great job of bringing it to TV and delivering it on a decent standard. So yeah, 7 out of 10 in my opinion. Go check it out for yourself. Subscribe like always, and I'll be back with more film and TV show reviews very soon. Goodbye.